Alright, so recording started. Let's get rolling. First question from Mary. Any of them, Mary. I usually start with social, like, social bookmarks, any type of social signals, and I see where that takes me. I give it a few weeks, a couple weeks, whatever the case. And then from there, you can go after, like, blog comments, high PR links, link wheels, that type of thing. But you can really start with any of them. From Brian. And it'll probably still pass link juice, Brian. You can use it as a private network site. PR is can be deceiving. You still have authority on that site, most likely. From Michael, web servers for money sites. I use Todd's hosting. I use Host9. I have HostGator for a few of my sites, my older sites. But a lot of Host9 and Todd's service, which is BizBuilder hosting. For PBNs, Host9, Todd's SEO web hosting, aseohosting.com. I just started using Dollar Hosting, Dollar SEO Hosting, IndiaNets. What else have I used or do I use? No, that's a list of them. For my PBNs, I'm not as worried as long as they're not horrible. As long as they don't have too much downtime and the sites load fairly decently, I'm not too worried about it. I use Bluehost for some of them. All right, from Janet. Okay, Janet, just ask specific questions and I'll get to them. From Key. Just through links, Key. I outrank them all the time. Just strong links, right optimization, all that type of stuff. From Brian. There's no such thing as an internal PBN link. PBN links are external. Those are just internal links, interlinking. I mean, the internal linking can help, but that's just kind of helping pass around the power of your site. The external links is what powers that. Okay, without those external links, that interlinking wouldn't do much for you. But interlinking can definitely help. Yeah, it depends on the strength of your PBN links and who's in front of you, Graham. Like in some of the health niches, it can be really hard to pass some of those big health sites, especially if people are linking to them. I'd have to see the strength of your PBNs, what anchor text you're using, how you set up your domain inner structure, all that type of stuff. From Ron. Yeah, Ron. I mean, the idea is to go through the content we lay out, write down questions, and come to these sessions and ask them. Or you can ask them in the Facebook group as well. People get quick answers there. From Michael. Yeah, Todd's service is bizbuilderhosting.com. B-I-Z builderhosting.com. A proxy bid is when you set your high. Okay, so if a domain's at $12 and you bid, let's say you bid $100, okay? It will place the domain up to $17 as your top bid. If someone comes in and bids 22, it'll automatically jump your bid to 27 because GoDaddy auctions jump by $5, at least at the beginning stages. So anytime someone bids above your bid, it will automatically bid for you the minimum bid that you can have to win it. All right, and it'll do that up to $100. If they bid over $100, then you, of course, start being the losing bidder. From Brett. I mean, that is the step-by-step, Brett. Ranking video is pretty simple. That's mostly what all you can do is, your simple on-page optimization through title, description, and tags, and then get links going. And that's it. Video is pretty simple. From Gavin. I mean, I'm sure it affects it a little bit, Gavin, but I don't worry too much about that. I let my designers do that. A lot of people like Thesis, Socrates, themes like that, but I don't worry too much about that. Mostly the links are going to power your site. It may affect it a very little bit, but again, not enough where I worry about it. This is one of the first webinars, Mark, and it's for everyone, not just newbies. Whatever questions you have. Throw out questions. Yep, from Janet. Just lower your standards, Janet, a little bit. Everyone wants to go after the big the good ones, and you can go after decent domains and still do very well. So I'll just lower your standards a little bit. I mean, I personally still find really good domains for $69 every single day. I put a lot of time into my research. From Patrick. No, I don't disguise. I'm not totally sure what you mean. Expired domain is just when you use a site to power another site. What's up, Jack? Bernadette. You don't have to do that, Bernadette. I just kind of do it for safety. I always set up support@domain.com, and I'll forward that to my normal email, just in case I ever need it, or I don't know if anyone ever looks into it, they just see that email. So that's just what I do. I wouldn't worry too much about that, though. All right, from Amber. I also don't worry too much about H1 or H2. I haven't done too much testing with it. I'm sure it does help, Amber. Um, I mean, I would say it probably does help a little bit, but I haven't personally tested too much with H1, H2 tags. I worry more about the URL and the anchor text, and then the title. So, from Brett. Yes, most of my sites are powered just by PBN links. From Edgar. I mean, that has nothing to do with pay-per-click, Edgar. You want to switch up your anchor text no matter what. You don't want to have too much of the anchor text too many times. And sink or swim method, the sink or swim section it goes over that in depth. From Sean. Yeah, I usually just let them come up with all that, Sean. From Mary. Yeah, just make sure you're getting different IPs, Mary. From Jack. No, not necessarily. Sometimes I'll rank the inner page, Jack. Yeah, I mean, you just always want to set up your site ahead of time. So, if I got klks.com/electronic cigarettes then I'm going to do my brand names here, okay? So what I'm going to do is, or let's say like electronic cigarette reviews, alright? And then I might have like brand name here, okay? So that's how I'm going to set up this site ahead of time. So what I'm going to do is copy, there we go. The actual silo right here, this is the silo. I'm going to rank this for stuff like electronic cigarette reviews. Whoops. Electronic cigarette reviews, review, My mouse is being dumb right now. E-cig reviews, maybe electronic cigarette brands, okay? All that type of stuff. Alright? And then my inner ones are going to be actual, or my sub pages of this are going to be actual brand names. So we got like V2 Cigs. And then this page, I'll target V2 Cigs, V2 Cigs review, stuff like that. Okay, so that's how you want to set it up. Just know what you're going to do ahead of time. From Gavin. Alright, I gotta set up a video on that because a lot of people ask that question. So let me write a note here. So basically what I do is I'll link to one site no more than 3 times. Okay, so if we got site 1 for linking from PBN1, okay, site 1 will be our money site, PBN1 is the site we're linking from. I might link to site1.com, site1.com/page1, and then site1 page 2, and that's the most I'll do. Sometimes I'll do 1, sometimes I'll do 2, sometimes I'll do 3, okay? But I will not link to any of these URLs again from this PBN. As far as how many links total, now I wouldn't hit this site again because I already did 3 properties on it. And usually I don't do 3, usually just 1 or 2. Sometimes I'll do 3, not very often. But total links, I would say no more than 100 links on a PBN. And that includes outbound authority links, and that's absolute max. I usually stay way under that. Alright, I'm usually around 20 at most, but I would set your max at about 100. And I'll do a video on that more in depth because a lot of people ask that. You can do internal linking for Web 2.0s. Nothing wrong with that. From Brian. I don't remember, Brian. Not many. I started with brand names, I believe. I would say by the time I was making $100 a day, maybe 10 I used. Just a guess. Alright, from John. And we just went over that. And again, I'm going to do a video on that because a lot of people ask about that. I don't know, Bernadette. I'm pretty sure it's NS you got to use. I could be wrong, but I've always seen just NS. So I would use NS. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about those details. From Brian. Yeah, I go over this in the sink or swim method, Brian. How I do my anchor text. From Key. Not necessarily. You just got to find someone to do it for you. You can look in the Facebook group. You can look on sites like freelancer.com if you don't want to do it yourself. From Michael. It depends how long I've had the site, how new it is. Sometimes, like a new site, I'll wait a week or 2, sometimes 3. It depends how much of a rush I'm in. More sites that I've been linking to longer, sometimes I will link every single day, multiple times a day. So I switch it up. From Brett. I would email Mike about that, omg@omgmachines.com. I don't know exactly where that content is. Mike lays it all out. From Welton. Yeah, you can use it for that, Welton. Definitely. From M. Shah. I don't mess much with redirects, Shah, so I can't really speak on that. I like to, just talk about stuff I test with personally, so I'm not sure. From Matt. I would start with building your PBN out, Matt. That's the most important thing. get your PBN going. The rest is a lot easier from there once you have a PBN. Either way is probably fine, Mike. I don't really mess with subdomains much. You know, Jimmy's really good with them, Jimmy Kelly. But either way will be fine, I think. I don't mess with them too much, though. So again, you know, with something I don't have much experience with, I don't like to comment too much. I don't want to give you a wrong answer. From Gavin. Yes, and I'll make a video on that. Like I said, a lot of questions come in on that. Nope, nothing has changed. If something changes, Janet, you'll know because I'll do a video. You know that when it comes to OSE, it just depends what you like looking at. I still use OpenSite Explorer and Register Compass. It's just a preference for me. I find it easy to read the data from Key. Use my brain, like you know, I'm thinking, what would I type in if I'm doing this? You can use thesaurus.com. You can, if you type it into Google, they'll have recommendations down bottom. Like hernia, I don't know, herniated disc. If you scroll down here, they'll have recommendations down here. Okay, so you can look at that. That's kind of the stuff I do. From JD. You gotta, to join the Facebook group, for anyone else that has not in there, go to December 10th and 11th news, and it'll tell you how to do that. If you sent me requests since last night, I haven't gotten to them yet. I'll get to them probably tonight. And for the complete beginners, go through the introduction area, go through the introduction webinar, and start from there. From John. Yeah, everyone's favorite's going to be different. From Paul. Yeah, the company's for money site hosting. I use Host9 a lot. BizBuilder hosting a lot. I'll even use ASEO hosting for some of my money sites. Those are three that I like. PBN Sniper. I've never used PBN Sniper. I just have my own. You know, I like to just do it manually. That's just me. No, that's just preference, though. Steven? I like a lot of branded anchor text, Steven, and then pretty much the same thing you look for in an expired domain, except a lot of branded anchor text, and then a good domain name as far as it can be made into a money site. You know, you don't want cats.com for a dog site, obviously. So that's the only difference. From Patrick. Depends what hosting company you're talking about. As long as you're getting different IPs for each site, doesn't matter. From Michael. I don't remember, Michael. I don't really pay attention to the PR, so. No. Okay, I go for auction domains as well. Like GoDaddy auctions. But yeah, pre-release and then the GoDaddy auctions is mainly what I do. From Anders. You just put in your max bid. That's all. That's all you gotta do. And it'll set your max bid as your proxy, and it'll put your jump the bid up to whatever is the lowest possible high bid above the next lowest bidder. So, from Jack. I have much better success using them than selling them. From Brian. Awesome, Brian. Yeah, I mean, just give it a good week between links, see how they move, and you might not need many more links. You know what I mean? Just take your time. Yeah, you can go back and change them. Just don't do it too quickly. Like if you have 10 links, I wouldn't go change them all at once. That's what I'd do. From Sean. No, not really a minimum. It's just I just consider everything. If it has one really good link, it's a chance, and if it's a really good link, I might take that chance depending on the price. So I don't really use GSA myself, so I can't explain that too much. But we have a lot of content on that from Jimmy, from Patrick. Sometimes I do new domains, sometimes expiring domains. I do both, Patrick. Chris. Again, you can't judge by PR, Chris. It's I have PR threes that are stronger than PR five, so you can't judge by PR. From Anders. No, $100 isn't the limit. I was just giving an example. There's no limit to a proxy bid. That's just the highest price you're willing to pay for the site, and it will automatically bid up to that price for you if people bid it up that high. No, Kelcast is not a siloed structure, Gavin. It was supposed to be. We got a miscommunication with my partner on it, and we just never siloed it. From Janet. I mean, just links. A site that has links from quality sites. Good domain authority. I will consider PageRank, good Alexa ranking. I mean, it's hard to explain. I kind of go over that more in the videos, Janet. Like the type of stuff I look for and what I'm talking about in the videos that I show. That's what I find as good sites. Natural edu links, natural gov links, stuff like that. To study sites, I prefer hrefs. If I'm looking at and that's this site right here. This is how I analyze like anchor text and all that. OpenSite Explorer I use for PBNs. That's just me. You don't gotta do that. That's my preference. I don't know what Weblify is. Jack. Awesome, Jack. Perfect. From Brett. Yeah, pretty rare, but I have noticed that, Brett. HREFs I use for analyzing stuff like that. Again, this site right here, because they pick up a lot of links. From Michael. I would ask Mike about that. OMG at omgmachines.com. Again, I don't lay out the content, so I'm not sure where everything is. Dwayne, most likely. I haven't tested with it too much. I'm kind of playing with it right now. But yeah, I mean, the idea is the link juice is still there, so it should work. But I don't have a definite answer for that yet. From John. No, not a min or max. Just more about quality. Like I said, if there's one good link, I may still go after it. Depends how good the link is and what the price is. One good link can do a lot for you. I mean, I guess, but if you have a PBN, you can just, when they cancel, you can take down their links and bye-bye go their rankings. So, it's the beauty of a PBN. From Brian. Um, Not necessarily, but most of the good sites are going to be .com, .org, .net. A lot of the other ones are spammy. Holy question. Alright, it's from Adrian. Yeah, you don't want to link to your money site from Fiverr gigs. Yeah, you don't want to just make sure you link to just YouTube video type stuff, other Web 2.0 properties from Fiverr gigs. Do not link to your money site. For Michael, I'll set up different categories sometimes. Sometimes I'll set up no category. Sometimes I'll set up set categories and I change it up. So, and Clinton's here. What's up, Clinton? Whoops. All right, Clinton. Yeah, again, that depends on the name of your domain. If you get your keywords in there, what he's doing. I have no idea how strong he is and what he's using. So, I would need that information. From Brett. Yeah, it can take several months. It can take longer, it can take shorter. Depends on competition. From Sean. No, I just use Register Compass. Again, I'm set in my ways. I've done that since the beginning, so that's the way I do it. No, I don't pay attention to anything Matt Cut says. From Matt. Yes, that is right, Matt. Nope, does not have a specific theme. Yes, you can write articles in different niches as long as the article is relevant to what you're linking to. Don't need to silo, don't need categories, you can use them though. Yes, that is correct. That's a good way to put it, kind of like an article directory. Yeah, it can be like that. Some people will set them up just for one niche, because it is probably safer for the long run. But so far, no problems with having multiple categories on a site. So, from John, usually more for my PBNs is what I mostly worry about, John. But you can go for your money sites. I don't worry about that as much though. From Damien. Just throw if you're talking about like you're trying to rank for electronic cigarette brands, make sure you mention e-cig brands. Electric brands of electronic cigarettes. Mention it once or twice, and then do your link. What I won't do is like say I have an interior design article. If I'm linking to like DelawareInteriorDesign.com, something about Delaware interior design, if it's a general article I order, I'll make sure I go in and throw in Delaware a couple other places. So my only mention of Delaware, I don't want my only mention of Delaware being a link. You know what I mean? Like I want there to be other text that says Delaware that's not a link to help Google show Google that I'm not just throwing in Delaware to link to it to rank for it. If that makes sense. From M. Shah. It's probably a good idea to put them on different hosting, Sha. Um, I do have some money sites that are on the same hosting as my PBNs. I prefer not to do it, but it's just something I did just rushing, I guess. But I would prefer it to be on different hosting if possible, just to be safe. One. One is the minimum. Now, I showed this example before. My friend owns this shop. I sent one link to it from a very cheap site, and here we are at number one. Okay, Delaware Barbershop, Delaware Barbershops, best Delaware Barbershop. Anything you type in with that, all from one single link from a PBN, a cheap PBN at that. Outranking Yelp, outranking Mana, outranking Facebook. All right, so outranking Yellow Pages. One link. Just depends on the niche. From Brian. I usually just hire out if I'm going to do anything like that. I don't use a plugin for that. Oh, the guy. Oh, you're okay. Share this, I believe it's called. Actually, it's on klks.com. Let me see. What the hell is this called? Shareaholic. That's what it's called. Shareaholic. From Amber. I leave my meta descriptions empty, yes. I mean, you can fill out the descriptions like so they show in the search engines, like in the description for the search engines if you want. I usually just let them pull it from my content, and I just do the titles. That's just me. From Edgar. You don't have to do it in another language, unless you're targeting another language. From Brian. Nah, I mean, a lot of that stuff you hear, Brian, is probably just crap. I mean, Calcast's doing totally fine. Probably should have a privacy policy, but I don't really worry about that type of stuff. Yeah, you know what, Paul? It's funny you mentioned SEO web hosting. I just signed up for a new account for them for 50 IPs. Um, One thing I don't like is the IP range is very small. What I mean is like a lot of their IPs are like 123.45.56.2, and then the next one will be like 123.45.57.2. All right, so they got different C class, but only one number is different, just a little different. So their IP ranges aren't that big. So if you're going to order one, I would just order like a 20 or 30. I'll probably cut mine down. But yeah, I mean they're fine to use. I have another account with them as well, which is like a 20. I just send them topics, Mike, and have them write on that topic. And then, like I said with the interior design example, like I just do general articles. And if I'm linking to a Delaware interior design site, I'll just throw in Delaware a few times in the article myself. From Gavin. Um, Russell and Sue say not to cross-link between silos. I do, and I don't have a problem. So just depends. I mean, they're the silo experts, not me. So you probably want to listen to them over me, but I do it and don't have too much of a problem there. Another silo question. I mean, supposedly it's best to keep everything in that silo linked together and not link out to another silo. That's the way you're supposed to do it according to Sue and Russell. I don't worry too much about that. It's just me personally. But you know, you can either way is going to work fine. But it just depends if you want to listen to them. Who they are the expert on it, by the way, not me. So from Chris. Yeah, I have tons of video. I should have tons of videos on that, Chris, especially for Moz. I only use OpenSite Explorer for Moz. I don't pay attention to anything else they say or do. HRES I just use for looking at the other type of stuff, anchor text and stuff like that. I don't remember what we were talking about, Mike. I get too many questions. From James. You can use, I believe you can use micrositemasters.com, but I just check videos manually usually. I don't know why, I just always have. From Brett. Never. As long as it has the links, it's going to have the power. From Michael. No, I do it myself, Michael. I don't trust anyone inside my PBN. From Vincent. I have never done coaching sessions in person or one-on-ones, Vincent. Um, just because it probably wouldn't be worth it to me or you at the price it would, that it would be worth it to me. So, I wouldn't write it off, but I haven't done it before. From Brian. I don't do too much of that, Brian. I just do SEO and let partners take care of that other stuff. But I know that a lot of my partners use like Get Clicky. I do have SEO, Webmaster, and Analytics installed on a couple of my sites. So that just depends what you want to do there. From JD. No, you gotta get the expired domains yourself and do your linking yourself. But it sounds like you're very, very advanced, JD, and contact David at omgmachines.com and just let him know that you don't even know how to set up a website. Where should you start? Because David is like the master planner, and most likely he'll have me do a video to get you started. If we don't, I might already have that. But David will be the best one to ask that question to, and he'll get you set with the best path. I promise you. From Michael, usually 10 on average. SOA is the it's like the property attached to the hosting email. I don't know what it stands for though. I forget what it stands for. Oh yeah, domains usually escalate the most in the last 5 minutes, Janet. No doubt about it. But at the same time, sometimes you can go in at the last minute if people aren't paying attention, steal it out from under people. Like you said, it depends on how many bidders. And I usually do wait until the last minute to bid. From Gavin. From the entire PBN, Gavin. And again, I'm going to do a video on that. Most hosting, you don't need to change the SOA, Brett. But a good way to look is just type in your email you used to sign up for. And if all your sites start showing up, then you got to find out how to change the SOA records. Now, if you go and type your email you signed up with, let's say we signed up with, like one I use as an example that I did not change it for on purpose, is for this hosting account where we have a bunch of our example sites, like CDN News, Nashville Website Design, Colorado Springs Veterinarians, Delaware SEO, Baton Rouge Architects. If I change the SOA records, I would change, I would change it from this email to, for Delaware SEO, I would change it to support@delaware.seo.org. That way, when you type in greg3@melovemoney.com, this will not show up. And if you do it for each individual one, they'll not show up when you do this email. So it's not a footprint. Yes, everything's recorded and posted. Yes. For Mike. Um, it's hard to get a penalty. You do gotta switch up your anchor text more now than you used to have to, Mike. So just be careful with that. Make sure your anchor text is spread out a decent amount, and take it from there. And also, videos. Good point. Seem to be taking longer to rank. Where I'll send like PBN links to a video or any type of links, and it won't move for like a month, and all of a sudden a month later it shoots way up. So I've noticed weird things like that happening. No, I wouldn't use meta keywords. I think they ignore them from key. Most of the time, you're going to get a different IP key. If you're using a ton of sites like I do, and you order, like I just ordered my second SEO web hosting account, you may want to check to make sure you don't get any of the same IPs if you have multiple accounts under the same hosting provider. But if you just have one account, which most of you will, for each company, then you don't got to worry about that. From Gavin. I wouldn't say like high quality, Gavin, but I like it to make sense and be unique. Like I don't like spelling errors, sentence structure errors, because they can detect that. But it doesn't have to be like great content by any means. Russell and Sue are the ones from Network Empire. They're actually going to be doing a whole bunch of content for you guys very shortly. I pay $99 a month, Connie. There is free 3-month options out there, or free 3-month coupons you can get for free, 4 months, something like that. I don't add most of mine to Google Webmaster Tools, Brett. Mostly, I did a few of them just for testing, see what would happen. I haven't had a problem, but I wouldn't like add all your sites to Webmaster Tools so that then they're all kind of grouped together. Like if I had all my sites in there, I would have like 1,000 sites in there, and that would be no good. So awesome, Jack. All right, from Michael. No, once it's off the home page, you'll have different link juice, and you can always increase the number of posts on your home page though. So I start with 10 because usually I don't go over that. Usually I'm not over like 5, but I do have some with up to 10, and I usually just won't go over that. So only for my really big sites like KLKS, Paul. Yeah, but for my smaller sites, I don't really worry about that. If it's like a big site that's like a big project like KLKS, I will take the time to do that. From Janet. Um, you know what? You gave me a good idea, Janet. You gave me a good idea. And then I can do a video on well, I kind of have videos on this already. Maybe something like that. Did you go through all the videos, Janet? I should have something like that already. But if I don't, I'll make that video. Pretty sure I do. From Damien? Try to ask me like what you don't understand about Damien, because I don't know how to put it any differently than I did. So if you have like a specific question, like I'm not sure how to explain it any different. That's just if I knew how to, I would, but I'm not sure how to explain it any differently than I did in the videos. So if you have like a direct question, maybe that will help me answer your question, Damien. Whoops. From Matt here. And I'm going to do a video on this. Alright, I'll do it very soon. No, just 3 tier links to the same money site, Matt. I don't go over that usually. And yes, you can continually post to different money sites. And again, I'll do a video on that. I personally do pay for most of them, Brett. That's just me. If you don't have a huge network, it's probably not that big of a deal. No, I don't think it's a waste of time, but I don't focus on it. I focus on ranking in Google, and then if I rank in Yahoo and Bing, great. If I don't, I'm not too worried about it. From Brett? Nah, don't worry about that. I add content when I need a link. I wouldn't use AdSense on your PBN sites. That's just me. It may be because you installed Spider Spanker, Mary. If not, maybe the site got the index for some reason. But I'm guessing maybe you installed Spider Spanker or something like that from Gavin. You don't need to target one keyword per page. Actually, I target many keywords per page, Gavin. So if you go back to this example here, for this page here, I'm targeting anything that has anything to do with this. Electronic cigarette review, electronic cigarette reviews, e-cig reviews. I can even do the brands, electronic cigarette brands, e-cigarette brands, e-cigarette reviews, um, electric cigarette reviews. I can even do best electronic cigarettes if I want to. But for this page, the keywords I'm definitely targeting are anything with review in it. Electronic cigarette review, reviews, e-cig reviews, e-cig review, electric cigarette reviews. Those are all definites. Now I can decide if I also want to target these, or if I want to set up a page for best electronic cigarette type terms. So you're targeting multiple terms per page. It's up to you how you group them. Yeah, again, possibly just one. You know, as I showed with the Delaware Barber example. Depends on competition and how strong your PBNs are. I have the cleanest car probably in Delaware right now. Because I get tons of car washes. From Michael. I don't know why they're different, Michael. You know, I never even thought about it. I don't know why they do that. I don't know. But for pre-release, you basically are putting up $69 so you'll get in the domain. You're not actually spending $69. You're just saying, if I win the domain, I'll pay at least $69. That's kind of what you're saying. But you need to put up that bid to get in the actual auction. But if you lose, you don't pay anything. So, from Key. Yeah, if you have your keyword in your domain, I wouldn't repeat it like that, Key. Since you already have lawyers.com, since you already have lawyers in your domain, I would just do / personal injury. Okay, and then if you want to do by state, state. Okay, so if you got California, it's going to be lawyers.com. You know, if you're targeting personal injury lawyers in California, this is how I would do it for this domain. California. Okay, now of course your title would be like, you know, personal injury lawyers. So remember, your title helps you out a lot. Or you can even do attorneys, since you already use lawyers. Kind of take care of getting attorneys in there in California or whatever. If you want to target more, maybe you want to target best personal injury lawyers, you could put best in there. So, I mean, that's how I would set it up if it was lawyers.com. And there will be a replay, yes, but always replays of these sessions. For sure. You're welcome, Mary. Um, I mean, website you control, video is not your property. And a video, it's a lot harder to monetize. So, you know, there's a lot of reasons to use websites over video. From Janet. I get what you're saying, Janet. It's so tough because it's case by case. Like, if I could pinpoint it for you, I wish I could pinpoint it for you. Um, I'll try to think of a way to do that, but it's just always case by case. Maybe I can do like a new video on just maybe an updated one, I guess. And I'll point out things I like and maybe what I would pay for it. Maybe that will help. I don't think I ever mentioned price in my videos, so maybe I'll do that. But then, of course, that also differs from person to person as well. So, you know, it's really hard to pinpoint with being person to person. But I'll do my best, and I'll see if I can do a new video for you. From Trevor. I gotta go. This is kind of embarrassing, but I gotta look up what permutation means. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Alright, so it's kind of like organizing in order. You're too smart for me, Trevor. Yeah, they're spread up across multiple PBNs, yes. if I'm doing each of these right here, if I'm doing these as anchor text, each of these is from a different PBN. That's a PBN, that's from a PBN, that's from a PBN, that's from a PBN, all different. If these were anchor text I was using to link to my site, calcast.com/electronic serial reviews. From Gavin. I would say by now I've used 100 sites for CalCast, but remember, this site's been around almost a year. Um, and by the time I'd used 30, it was making like $500 a day. So, the additional links was more like testing different keywords and all that. So don't let that number be intimidating to you because you don't necessarily need anywhere near that much. Alright, so get in your last questions here, guys. My voice is about to go. I feel my throat burning. So get in your last questions if you got any. And I'll answer questions that come in up to 3 o'clock on the dot. Alright, from Key. No, your URL does not have to be exact match for your keywords. No, especially in this example, Key, where if you got a keyword in your domain, you definitely don't need it over here, because you already got it over here. All right. Now, if you had, you know what, even if you had like gregsite.com, I still wouldn't do, unless if you're doing like every single city. It depends how many you're going to be doing, but I wouldn't do this because I've had sites penalized for this. If you're doing like every single, let me delete this so it's not in the way. You don't want to do like this, injury lawyers in Alabama. Like if you're doing every single state, you don't want to keep repeating this. That's another reason to set up a silo so you don't keep repeating it on the inner pages. Even though it's a brand name domain, this is still dangerous. Like it's not natural. So you would still want to do gregsite.com, lawyers. You probably want to do personal injury, and then location. If you're going to keep repeating over and over and over again, all right? If you're just doing this one location, if you're just doing a single location, I would set it up like this, all right? This is how it's set up. But if you're going to do a bunch of locations, set it up like this, because then you don't got to keep repeating this on your first string URL, your inner URL, all right? Hopefully that makes sense. From Key. Okay, same thing there, Michael. I buy about 20 a week, I would say, Michael. I've been stocking up. I buy every single week. From Yomi. Yeah, again, how many you need depends. Maybe I'll do a quick video on that, like a minute video saying it depends. From Damien. I get what you're saying, that Damien. And if this was our future site, I'd probably tone that down, Damien. The reason I'm probably getting away with it is it's 2 words. All right, Nashville SEO is just 2 words. So if I did the same thing with Nashville SEO, or let's say like best Nashville SEO company.com, and I kept repeating best Nashville SEO company, like I did Nashville SEO, like you're talking about, I would have got penalized, because that's much less likely to be repeated that many times than a 2 word, okay? It's just like I did a new video on anchor text, you guys should watch it. It was just put in the members area yesterday, and I explained the exact same thing, like a 10% anchor text ratio. If you have, your anchor text 10% for, the best ways for women over 40 to lose weight. And then you have 10% anchor ratio for lose weight. Let's even say 25. So let's say like 25 out of 100 in each case. Alright? What are the chances of 25 out of 100 people using this? Not very good, right? Because it's so long, it's the longer an anchor text is, the less of a chance it has of being used a higher percentage time. This, what are the chances? Not great. 1 out of 4 will use it, but a whole lot better than this. Alright, so the reason I probably got away with that is because it's just 2 words. But I'm probably borderline. You're right on that, Damien. I would definitely tone it down for the future. We did that site a while ago. From Gary. Just through these sessions, Gary. You can email omg@omgmachines.com with questions if you really need to, and they'll pass them on to me if need be. From Mike. Yeah, you can leave them for as long as you want, Mike. And I've had videos up for like a year that I link to a year later and they rank. So, from Paul. Anything Spider Spanker I'll talk to Todd about. I'm not familiar with GoDaddy WordPress, Paul, so I don't know if it's different. I never used it, so I apologize for that. Alright, so it looks like about the last set of questions here. Probably websites, Brett. I don't know for sure. I would guess websites. But I mean, you could have a really good video and it could convert well, so I guess it depends on the quality of each. But if they're both the same quality, I really don't know. From Ben. But for affiliate, I would say definitely a website. You know, because with local, you can just put the phone number up there. For affiliate, they actually have to buy and click on something to buy it, so that gets a little more difficult. I believe you still can, Ben. I personally don't like to do that. Um, but I've seen sites ranking with duplicate content where they just change like locations and stuff in the article. But I would be very careful with that. Thank you, Matt. From Andrews. That started at 2, Ben. 2 to 3. From Michael. Next session, I don't know yet. I haven't set it yet. Probably set it in the next couple days and it'll be in the members area. From Key. Yeah, I do care about global monthly searches for sure. You know, like when I'm looking at keywords, I'll think of words, I'll put them in, I'll see how many searches they get. And how many searches it gets does depend on how high on my radar it is. So, yeah, that definitely matters to me. You're welcome, Ian. Okay, you got it, Janet. Awesome, Paul. Gavin. It's all good. Ask if you guys got questions. Ask. That's what I'm here for. Um, at least these sessions are at least an hour. Sometimes I can go over. Days like today, I gotta cut it more because I don't have a drink next to me. I probably should have got a drink. My throat is on fire. But yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to ask tons of questions, guys. That's what you're paying for, and that's what I want you to do because I want you to give you. I want to give you what you paid for, and more if possible. So please don't be afraid to ask too many questions. I really don't mind staying after most days, so. I don't know what he had set up, Welton, so I can't comment on that. From Brett. I got my alarm going off for auctions. I would maybe send a couple links to it, Brett, and see if you see some nice movement. If you do, then it's probably fair game. If you don't, then I would let it go. That's probably how I'd approach that. Alright, so this is going to be the last screenshot here. Alright, from Joseph. You're very welcome, Joseph. Glad these are helping people. From James. Good question, James. You can do either. I mean, I think the most important thing is to get a PBN built. So I would say PBN building your PBN is number one priority, because then by the time when your money site is built, you got your PBN ready to go to rank it. You know what I mean? So getting that PBN built is really big. I mean, it can really do a lot for you. So, but I mean, you can do both at the same time. You can do either. But my preference would be the PBN is number one priority. But you don't have to do one before the other. Well, I mean, you do kind of have to have a PBM before you rank a money site, but you can have the money site first. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah, guys, don't forget, especially you beginners. A lot of our success stories were beginners. It's not just a pitch we used to sell this. I mean, we really have had a lot of people succeed with this. And a lot of them were in your same position where they're like, oh my god, I have so many questions. You just have to. The hardest part is the beginning. Bear down the beginning, keep going through the content, keep asking questions, get involved with the Facebook group, and eventually it comes together. I mean, there's so many people who used to be newbies that come on here or in the Facebook group and they explain. They say I used to feel the exact same way. I was overwhelmed. I had so many questions, but if you just kind of bear down and just get through that phase and you learn that there's the initial steps, and trust me, it'll be well worth it. We've had a lot of people succeed from beginner. Very welcome, very welcome. What if people ongoing for the same businesses? I'm not sure what you mean there, Paul. I just use the keyword planner, James. Alright, awesome. Alright, so I'm going to end this one now. I'll put the recording in the bag